She wore a tiara that hadn't been seen in 30 years. A tiara locked away in a royal vault. Hidden, forgotten, gathering dust. Until last weekend, when one bride pulled it out of the darkness. And when she walked into that church, not a single person in that building could keep it together. Now, you might think, okay, it's a tiara. It's jewelry. Why does this matter? Because this is not a jeweler's story. This is a story about a granddaughter who lost her grandmother and found a way to bring her back. And here's what nobody is really talking about. This tiara has a history that goes back over 100 years, passed through some of the most powerful women in royal history, hidden for 3 decades, and worn again on one of the most emotional royal wedding days in recent memory. By the time this video is over, you will completely understand why this moment broke the internet. And trust me, this gets more beautiful the deeper we go. June 20th, 2026. A perfect English summer afternoon. All Saints Church, Hovingham, North Yorkshire. Flowers in bloom. Sunlight pouring through stained glass windows. Royal guests dressed in their finest, filling every pew. And then, the doors opened. Lady Marina Windsor stepped inside. 33 years old. Daughter of the Earl and Countess of St. Andrews. A direct descendant of the royal family. She wore a breathtaking custom gown by sustainable designer Larissa von Planta. A lace veil, crafted from heirloom Habsburg lace, the kind of lace that has its own story to tell. Her something blue and something borrowed, the same single piece, her mother's sapphire brooch, worn as a necklace, right over her heart. Elegant, thoughtful, perfect. But then the guests noticed what was sitting on top of her head, and the entire church went still. Because that tiara? The last time anyone had seen it was 1992, 30 years, sitting in a royal vault. In the dark, unseen by the world. And now, it was blazing under the Yorkshire sun again. Wait until you hear where this tiara actually came from. Because that story is everything. But before we get to the tiara's history, we need to talk about the woman it belonged to. The Duchess of Kent, Catherine, Lady Marina's grandmother. In June 2025, Lady Marina announced her engagement to Nico Macaulay, a descendant of Viscount Camrose. A wonderful match. But the date she chose to announce it? The exact anniversary of her grandparents' wedding day. That was not a coincidence. That was a declaration of love. And then, 3 months later, in September 2025, the Duchess of Kent passed away. She never got to see her granddaughter in a wedding dress. She never got to sit in that church. She never got to watch Lady Marina walk down the aisle toward the rest of her life. And so Lady Marina made a decision. If her grandmother couldn't be there in person, she would carry her there anyway. She wore the Duchess's own diamond and pearl flower earrings. And on her head, the jewel that had sat on her grandmother's head for decades. The Kent pearl and diamond fringe tiara. Now, where does this tiara actually come from? Because this next part is going to completely change how you see this wedding. This is 100 years of royal history, sitting on one woman's head. We need to go back, far back, to Queen Mary, wife of King George V. The woman who is personally responsible for building most of the extraordinary royal jewelry collection that the family still wears today. She commissioned a stunning piece from Gerard, the royal jewelers, called the diamond crochet bandeau. Clean, brilliant, unmistakably regal. She passed it on to Princess Marina, Duchess of Kent, one of the most glamorous women in the royal family, widely photographed, widely adored. And then, in 1961, when Princess Marina's son, Prince Edward, Duke of Kent, was about to marry a young Yorkshire woman named Catherine Worsley, Princess Marina gave her future daughter-in-law the most extraordinary wedding gift. That tiara. Catherine Worsley wore it walking down the aisle of York Minster. The whole royal family watching. The whole country watching. From that day forward, it was hers. She wore it to film premieres, to state visits, to the 1963 wedding ball of Princess Alexandra, to the state opening of Parliament, to Jubilee galas, to birthday celebrations through the 70s, the 80s, the 90s. Over the decades, the tiara evolved. The diamond crochet bandeau was combined with a stunning pearl and diamond fringe topper, believed to be from the tiara of Princess Louise, creating the magnificent Kent pearl and diamond fringe tiara that the Duchess made famous. This was not just a piece of jewelry. This was her signature, her crown, her identity. And then, 1992. One final, glorious moment. The Duchess of Kent's own daughter, Lady Helen Windsor, wore this very tiara on her wedding day. At St. George's Chapel, Windsor Castle, Lady Helen even had her designer, Catherine Walker, embroider her wedding gown to mirror the exact shape of the tiara topper. The dress and the tiara were designed as a single, unified masterpiece. It was breathtaking. And then, silence. The Duchess stepped back from royal duties in the year 2000. The Kent pearl and diamond fringe tiara went into the vault. For almost 30 years, no red carpets, no state events, no weddings, just darkness. This next part is the moment that changes everything. Lady Marina Windsor didn't just want a beautiful tiara for her wedding day. She wanted her grandmother in the room. Think about what she did. She announced her engagement on her grandparents' anniversary. She wore her grandmother's earrings on her wedding day, and she placed on her own head the tiara that had sat on her grandmother's head at film premieres, at royal galas, at state events, through a lifetime of service and love and loyalty. She wore it as a message. Grandma, you are here. You never left. And here is the detail that truly breaks your heart. The base of this tiara was first commissioned by Queen Mary, passed to Princess Marina, given as a wedding gift to the Duchess of Kent, worn by the Duchess's daughter at her wedding, and now, worn by the Duchess's granddaughter at hers. 4 generations of extraordinary women. One tiara, one unbroken thread of love running through a century of royal history. And on June 20th, exactly 65 years after the Duchess of Kent first wore it into a church as a bride, Lady Marina Windsor brought it back into the light. The same diamonds, the same pearls, the same love, just a new face wearing them. That is not a story about jewelry. That is a story about what we carry from the people we've lost. Now, here's the question I want to leave with you. Lady Marina's sister, Lady Amelia Windsor, is getting married next. Do you think she will also choose one of her grandmother's jewels for her wedding day? And if you were advising her, what would you choose? Tell me in the comments. I genuinely want to know what you think. If this story moved you even a little, hit the like button. It truly helps this channel more than you know. And if you want more royal stories told like this, real, emotional, and deep, subscribe right now. There's another video coming very soon. And trust me, you don't want to miss it.